Welcome back to Andy Crawford Photography. I've never been really good at masking images in Photoshop, and so I've always relied on One, which is a great product. It's got a really wonderful masking tool that really helps you define the edges, even in pretty complex images, so that you can change that background out. However, Photoshop with their new update has come out with a really powerful select and mask tool. And so we're going to look at that today. We're going to see how easy it is. It's going to, for me, it will help me sort of maximize my workflow or make it more efficient. I really don't like going into plugins until I really have to. And so I can work, I can do my basic editing in Lightroom, take it into Photoshop, clean up, do my masking, save the layer, and then if I need to go back into one of the plugins, either One or Nick, I can do that. And so let's jump over to Photoshop and see how this works. I think you're really going to be impressed. Okay, so Photoshop gave us this image. You can see that it's just a dancer, and most of her it would be pretty easy to mask out. However, that hair has always been a nightmare, and so let's look at how this process works. First, you'll see I made a copy of the background, which is Control J in the on the PC and Command J on the Mac, and then I'm going to hide that. What you want to do is you want to have both of your layers that you're going to show active and hide everything else. Select the layer that you're going to mask. Okay, make sure that's selected, and then choose from any of the tools under the pointer. Come up to the top, and you'll see this new button. Select and mask. Click that. Okay, when you click that, you see that this is set on the overlay. Just come up to the onion skin. You're really going to see, you can see what you're doing in this view. This transparency mode will go from 0, which shows only the image that you're working on, the mask that you're creating, and then if you go to 100%, it's going to show you the background that you're trying to add. And so probably the best thing to do is just sort of pick something where you can see a little bit of that background, but really right now you want to see that girl. All right, we're going to start with the quick select tool, which is the top right. And all you're going to do is simply start painting this girl in. As you move across, you're going to see that Photoshop is really doing a good job of grabbing all those edges, creating a really nice mask. And that's the girl herself without her hair. It's pulling in some of her hair. Now watch this. Let's move this mask up a good bit, or the transparency up a good bit. You can see that this hair isn't really showing. I'm going to increase the size of my tool, and I'm just going to, with that quick select, I'm going to paint over that hair. Now, what you immediately note is that some of the green that is in the original image of the girl is showing. Don't worry about that because we're about to take care of that really quickly. Okay, I can see that some of her isn't included down here. Just go on and pick it. You can see there's a lot of that original image, original background still in there. So come over here again to the top right and pick the second tool, which is the Refine Edge Brush. And just start painting over that edge, you'll see that it's removing that green background, doing a really good job of picking up the edges of that girl, refining that edge, and bringing in that background. And so if you want to see what has happened, again, simply take this transparency and move it all the way up, and you'll see you need to do a little more work. Okay, now, it's still not perfect. You can see that some of the hair is actually painted out and this background is showing. So let's move over to the Properties panel, go down to Output, and then hit this or click this Decontaminate Colors button. Now you're going to see that it's really bringing in all of this. It's blending the background and bringing it back in. I'm going to go back up to the Quick Select, and I'm going to select all that hair again and see how this all works out. Now when I come in, again, I've got that Decontaminate Colors button selected. It's pulling that that green out of there. It's really refining it very well. And so you can really sort of play with how you how your edges are shown. You can feather it in or out. In this case, I want a pretty hard edge. You can work with the contrast, and you can smooth out the edges. But again, I just want to really get that out of there, and I just messed up. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to see what I just did. Okay, so that's pretty close. It's still got a little bit of that green in there, so I'm going to come in, I'm going to paint that. You may have to reduce your brush size so that you're not completely painting everything out. And then once you're satisfied, you can come up to the view mode and you can go down to overlay, and it really shows you, you can see there's a little bit of the girl that isn't included. And so come down to the third tool in the upper right. It's the paint in and out brush. And so you can take this tool and you can just paint over those areas that the mask is showing you isn't being included. See, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to hit Alt, and I'm going to pull out that part. Alt will turn on the remove from the mask function. And so I can come in here and I can just remove all of that for whatever reason was, I guess, because there's not a lot of distinction in color between that foot and that background. You can come in and you can refine your mask that way. And so once you do this, you're pretty much finished. You can see a little bit of that hair is still being pulled out, but go ahead now and hit OK, and look, that's pretty good. I mean, that's amazing. There's your mask that you created. There she is without that background. Then all you have to do is just merge those backgrounds, and you've got an image you can work with and do whatever you need to do. You can change that, this background out, and you're finished. You can move on to the next part of your workflow. Okay, I appreciate you joining me again. Please subscribe to this channel so that you get all of my videos. You can scroll through and see other great Photoshop and Lightroom tips. And I ask that you visit my website and learn more about my photography and find great samples of that photography. And you can even, if you'd like to, buy a print. So join me again next time. I try to post at least one video a week, sometimes more. And so join me and we'll keep going through tips that will help you elevate your photography. Talk to you next time.